Ultraman!
Shinrob, Ultra Rob Tigajir here. Yes, we are still doing that. This week, yet again, I am talking about another piece of Ultraman Tiga merch. That, of course, being the Ultra Big Soft Vinyl Ultraman Tiga figure. Look at this thing. This thing is amazing. I love this figure so much. It has its issues. We're gonna talk about its issues in the review, I promise you. But I want the standard Ultraman figures to be this. This size, fully painted, obnoxious freaking tag. This is what I want the standard Ultraman to look like. I love this. But like nearly everything else that I love, this line of figures was canceled in late 2018. Bummer. And that really confuses me because we're getting a giant-sized Ultraman Z and Savengar figure. And is it Savengar or Savenger? I keep asking that. I don't know. Is that going to be from an entirely new line? Has this line been resurrected? Does anybody know? Let me know in the comment section down below. But let's get started with this review now, shall we?
So here we have him. Big, soft vinyl figure version of Ultraman Tiga. Now you're probably noticing a bunch of things going on right now. One thing, the turntable isn't doing a complete circle, and I clearly have the figure propped up with an unopened pack of the Ultra Pro top loaders, and that is because this guy can't really stand on his own. I don't know if it's the weight of the tag or if it's just his feet coming in a little bit warped or something, but there is definitely something affecting this figure from standing, and as you know, I don't detag my figures, but speaking of tags, let's take a look at the tag, shall we? Here is this obnoxiously large tag that I unfortunately can't stuff into a top loader because, as you can see, I'd have to bend it, and I don't bend tags. I protect tags, gosh dang it. But this is really cool. I like that we get a side view of Ultraman Tiga. We've got the logo for the series over here. We got some stats for Ultraman Tiga. Bandai, Ultraman Tiga, Ultra Big Soft Figgle. Figure, not figgle. It looks like it says figgle. Moving on, there's nothing on the inside of this tag, and there's just a bunch of the normal stuff on the back side of the tag. You can scan something, Tsuburaya Productions, and that's pretty much it for the tag. Now we can talk about the actual figure. Alright, yo, check this out. He's gonna stand on his own right here, right now. Yeah, you see that? He's standing, no support. He's standing, and I stand this standing. I really do think it might be the weight of the tag weighing him down in certain areas, but then, you know, some things kind of like that happens. Like why like the weight not being distributed properly, and it's only with that side. I really do think it's the feet. Actually, look at this. Look at this. So you're looking at this from a front end view. You turn it sideways and it's like, okay, something looks wrong somewhere, but I can't really put my finger on it. I don't know what it is. If you see it, let me know. I've tried heating this up. I mean, it kind of looks like one leg is shorter than the other almost, or this one looks like it's kind of cocking outward. I'm not too sure. I apologize. We're just going to talk about the paint now because this Ultraman figure is fully painted. So right up front, we are taking a look at multi-type Tiga, or Omni-type Tiga. And multi-type means he's got the indigo, not purple, thank you for the correction, red and silver all mishmashed onto him. Now for anybody who watched last week's video, you'll know that I really liked the figures that I was talking about. I just oh so hated that their backs were left unpainted. Well, yes, friends and neighbors, he's fully painted, even on the back. This is honestly why I love this figure line so much already, just because they're fully painted, they're a bigger size, and they're not, you know, small and half painted. We've got that beautiful gold, the beautiful silver, the beautiful indigo and red. It's all here, and it all looks so great. There are a couple of small flubs here and there. So as you can see, there is some spillage of silver on the back of the head, but I really don't consider that an issue or problem at all. You're also going to see some marks over here and up here. That, unfortunately, is due to me standing this figure up after I got him out of the box and him falling off of a table. I screamed like Tom Cruise in the Mummy trailer. Just like that. Moving this Omni-type ridiculous tag out of the way, you can see that the silver paint misses a bit over here and goes a little bit over the mark over here. Yet again, this isn't serious type stuff. I'm just showing you where the paint kind of misses the mark. You're going to get some overlapping indigo on the legs over here, and you're also going to see some silver overlapping on the ankles. Yes, and unfortunately on both sides, but again, it's honestly so unnoticeable, and even when you do notice it, it's really not that big of an issue. And plus, you'll see a little bit of the overlapping on the knees as well. Over here, you're going to see a couple of areas that are just missing some of that silver paint. Kind of just looks like they didn't go over it a lot, and you're gonna get a little bit over here, and you're gonna see some missing indigo paint over here on the waist as well. Now, Walter P. Cunningham Rob Gira here from the future with a few more unfortunate flubs that I found on the figure. We have messy gold paint on the shoulder blades on both sides, only this side it's a little bit worse because there is a nick in the vinyl over here. Not so sure if this is something I did or just the way the figure came without me noticing, but yeah. That's a thing. We also have some messy red and blue paint over here around the neck. As you can probably see some blue paint over here along the edges, but I really don't count that because I can't, like, you know, it doesn't really look that bad. But anyway, back to the future! Well, technically, me going back to the future will eventually make that the present and not so much the future, but then again, once this airs, I would be going back to the past and this would be the present, so me saying going back to the future would, oh, whatever. Goodbye! Obviously, these are big old Bandai figures. Doesn't mean because I have some flubs on mine, mean you're going to get some flubs on yours. It just means, hey, expect some flubbed paint in a few areas. And honestly, looking at the thing from far away, can you really tell? And are you really that upset? I know I'm not. Something I wanted to talk about before I forgot about it again for 2 straight videos now. The jewel at the center of Ultraman Tiga's head is not actually another form of silver. It's another form of this gold over here. If anything, a little bit lighter than what's present on the shoulders, which this version of Omni really didn't have. It's more so a lighter white than it is that of the gold. So I do prefer the bigger figure over the smaller one, if not for just the size, but also for the paint. And when looking at the smaller version of Omni Tiga over here, you can see that the eyes are definitely a more creamier color than this one, which is interesting. But you can also see that small Tiga over here does not have the red stripe on his inner arm over here. It's just all silver. Interesting. And when looking at the figures from the side, you can see just the ridiculousness of this not being fully painted. It's like, this is how it's supposed to look. Like, look at this. This is how it should be. This is how it should always be. It should not be like that. But again, the backs of the smaller Ultraman figures really haven't been painted in recent months, years. I don't want to say years, maybe months, I'm not sure. Because some of my Ultra Series 500 figures actually have paint on their backs. So, bit of a boo-boo last video. But yeah, this is what a fully painted Tiga figure looks like. And I wonder, you can see that there is a line over here. I wonder if it was meant to be red like it is on the front over here. You see what I'm saying? It's like, maybe this was meant to be red as well. Maybe that was supposed to be red. Maybe this is something that was missed. Hey, if you own this figure as well, are the backs of your arms all silver or do they have the streak of red? Tell me, I'd love to know. But anyway, with that being said, let's show off the articulation. The articulation is rather simple. You're gonna get it in the arms. You're not gonna get it in the legs, but you are gonna get it in the waist. Roughly the same thing. Not even roughly, it's entirely the same thing. When buying an ultra big Ultraman figure, yes, you're going to be paying a lot more money than you would for one of these figures right here, but honestly, it goes a long way. You're getting a much bigger figure, you're getting a much bigger figure with a lot more paint, and the quality itself really does show. Both sides of the figure being painted and not stopping at the halfway point is a huge plus. The only downside here is that this line is apparently Dunyan rings, fam. But we shall see, we shall see. Maybe the giant Ultraman Z and Savengar figures will be the new blood in this line's veins. But for the most part, I really do enjoy this figure. I enjoy it a lot more than I do the smaller figures, mostly for the paint. And honestly, I really do hope more is set to come. I would like to get Sky and Power from this line as well, eventually. Also, just look at this, like, the more I compare this figure to the smaller one, the more upset I kind of get because it's like, Bandai. come on. Like, really, dude? Like, oh man. Getting this thing out of the shipping box for the first time, it really did upset me just how much they really didn't put into the smaller figure. Like, god dang it. And again, this size difference, huge. Gonna be just about 9.5 inches tall, almost 10. So yeah, you're paying for a 9-inch figure here with a lot more paint. Totally worth it if you ask me. And last but most certainly not least, let's talk about detail. Wow, this video was done completely out of order. I apologize. Wowzers, look at this head. Ultraman Tiga is angular and aerodynamic looking. Very, very, very nice. And looking at the back of the head, we can see that there's a crevice over here. It's pointed, and this kind of looks like a face hugger without legs. Oh god, I'd like to get that imagery out of my head now, please. Moving on down to the chest and shoulder area, we can see the color timer is very nicely there. It's not really detailed, it's just kind of a thing that's there. The ornamental chest plate, if you can call it that, on Tiga's chest is very nicely detailed. I mean, there really isn't anything there, but it's nice that it's not just one solid shape. As you can see, it's actually sculpted over here, which is very, very nice. More details that you can see over here. You can see some wrinkling of the suit at the underarms over there. Very accurate, very nice. And speaking of which, let's take a look at this. There's going to be some wrinkling at the arm over here, just like the suit does in the show. Fantastic, and oh, wowzers! A perfectly sculpted fist to crack. Punch. But no, when I say this is perfectly sculpted, those fingers and knuckles and everything are perfectly sculpted. Very, very nice stuff right there, truly. You're gonna get the same at the opposite side as well. Beautifully sculpted fist and fingers, and wrinkling at the arm over here. And here is where most of the detail kind of takes a back seat. You will get a bit of a bulge at the crotch. You are going to see a bit of the kneecaps over here. And the major detail that you see at the feet over here is more so going to just be the wrinkling at the ankles. And looking at the back side of the figure, you get a little bit more of that wrinkling on the opposite sides of the shoes. Not so much on the legs. Just because I have to put this out there, he does got a bit of a butt right there. Congratulations, Tiga. And you're going to see this thing that they keep the zipper in for the suit, but it's part of the Ultra anatomy, so no, it's not a zipper, it's a full body mohawk. And you can see more of the fantastic detail that was on the front of the figure back here as well. Wrinkling at the underarms over here. The ornate chest plate goes from the shoulders to the back over here. Very, very nice. And you will be able to see and feel the elbows back here as well. Very, very nice. And that pretty much covers all of the paint and detail you'll be getting in an ultra big Ultraman figure. Well, that being said, let's cut back to my face and end this video off. And my god, if this video does well, I will buy more. I want to get the original Ultraman in Belial.
Hey, yo, bruh, you see this? You see it? This is peak performance right here, bruh. This is the stance of a winner! And a winner this figure is. Despite its flaws and the funky feet that I don't know if I'm ever going to be able to fix, I love this figure a lot. And again, I really do wish this would become the Ultra standard for Ultraman. But with this line being cancelled and the Ultra Hero 500 line still going on, I don't think that's ever going to happen. God, I would have killed for a Power and Sky version of this. That would have been awesome. Apparently they do exist though, just from a different line, the super huge figure line. Those were the male ways from back in the day. We'll see if I can pull off a miracle and cop a couple of those. But anyway, that is the end of the review, everybody. I do so hope you enjoyed. The Ultraman Tiga trilogy will come to an end next week, unless Deep Discount just so happens to release my Ultraman Tiga Banpresto figures that has been delayed since December, early December, now going into early February. Deep Discount, what the heck are you doing? Anyway, patrons, thank you so much for becoming Shinrob JR patrons. I appreciate you, I really, really do. If you'd be interested in becoming a Shinrob JR patron, there will be a link in the description below next to all of my social media and my merch link at Redbubble. There's also going to be a link to my Discord page down below. You should totally come and join that. I really don't care about member numbers, but as of right now, GVK is starting to really ramp things up and everybody's really excited and talking about it, so you should come join the conversation about Godzilla vs. Kong, about Ultraman, about whatever you want to talk about. We've got a channel for nearly everything to talk about. I have been Shinrob Ultra Rob Tiga Jira, and I will see you all next week. Until then, friends and neighbors.
Hey, that's mildly adequate.
Yeah!